Hi everybody, Rector Arundel here. Today is July 3rd, 2019, and today's video is a little bit different than all of my other videos for several reasons actually. First and foremost, it's going to be long, longer than normal, because I have quite a few topics to discuss, and it might be quite debatable, and perhaps there might be people who disagree with what I have to say. So I encourage you to call me out and tell me why you disagree, and we can talk about it. But the main purpose of this video is coming clean. And when I say that, I don't mean purifying your body with fasting. What I mean by that is admitting things openly that perhaps I have been keeping to myself due to embarrassment or fear of being rejected or shamed, etc. So, first of all, I want to say, why do we put our best selves forward for others to see? Um, and in regard to that, a lot of YouTube channels I watch, people are always trying to always show their best sides only. They're too afraid to show anything that is less than quote unquote perfect because they don't want to be judged and they don't want to be picked on. So today's video, I'm just going to put it all out there, tell you what I do that's bad, or at least what I think is bad, and why it might not be as bad as I have in my mind. So first of all, when is putting your best self out there bad for you? When is it a lie? And my only thought to that is when you feel guilty about it, like I do. If you feel like you're leading people to believe that you are something you're not, then it is bad for you. It's bad for your soul. It's a lie. So, first of all, I'm going to say I didn't lie about anything that I've ever put on this video because it's for myself, this channel, I mean. But I will say I have omitted a few things and I'm going to put them out there today. Now, and additionally, I'm going to try to do this video without editing and without cuts. So you might hear some mistakes. All my videos are without editing, without cuts for two reasons. Number one, because I want to be authentic. I don't want to edit and change what I say, change what I feel to cater to people who watch it. Number two, um, they say that when you are truly channeling your higher self, you don't need to edit because it comes from a place beyond thought. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I have a little bit of thought going today because I took notes. I had a lot of things to talk about, so I took notes. You'll see me periodically looking at them to make sure I stay on track. So I'm not going to edit like ever, but I am going to use my notes to keep my channeling fluent and, or should say fluid without breaks. Now, Eckhart Tolle is one of the big people out there who talk about this. He says all of his books come from a place beyond thought. They come from silence. Now, that could be true. I don't know. But today, these thoughts come from me sitting down with a pen and paper and just writing down what came to thought right away. And I'm going to talk to you about it without thinking about it. Now, one of the main questions you see on YouTube a lot is, can you have bad habits and still be spiritual? Well, the first thing that comes to mind to me is, what is a bad habit? A bad habit traditionally is conditioned. Someone has told you it's bad, and therefore you believe it's bad. Someone has told you it's not good for you, and therefore you believe them, and it's become part of your ego. It's become part of you to think something is bad for you. Now, there are things that we arguably agree are bad for your body, are bad for your mind, your emotions, and some of those things are being selfish, hurting others, etc. We're not talking about that. We're talking about things that you do to make yourself feel good that you feel guilty about. And we could go on and on about that. You know, we have drugs, we have masturbation, we have, hey, working out. Is that bad? I don't know. Makes you feel good, doesn't it? So I will say again, a lot of quote unquote bad habits are conditioned. Now, even some gurus out there have been known to smoke cigarettes or other things. So, is smoking bad, or is it conditioned to think it is? Do gurus really possess the ability to be quote unquote perfect like Jesus was supposed to be? Or did maybe he smoke once in a while too? Now, your body's your temple and you want to treat it perfect, but under the right circumstances, Are you really causing yourself harm by smoking or drinking or doing other drugs? A lot of spiritual practitioners have known to be smoking things like marijuana or other DMT inducing chemicals, drinking, etc. So I want you to really think about, is drinking, smoking, doing any kind of substance bad for your body? And I'm not going to give you an answer to that. I want you to think about it. So, can you have bad habits and still be spiritual? I would say question your thoughts on what bad habits are and come to the conclusion for yourself. Now, some of this came from the idea that I believe that I am mostly pranarian / Breatharian, which means in my mind, my whole belief system, due to my transition from food to other sources, I believe that my body's needs are supplied by prana. Therefore, I believe wholeheartedly that I can eat and drink anything that I want or not and still be healthy and supplied with the sources that I need for my body to thrive. And not only my physical body, but my spiritual, emotional, and well, there are 4 bodies: spiritual, emotional, physical, and I guess thought. Yeah. So, anyway, it comes from that. I can consume nothing, theoretically, and still provide my body with nutrition that it needs. Now, I believe that your thoughts and your beliefs create your reality, and your willpower makes them happen. And of course, anger is part of that. Something makes you really angry, you act on it. And action is creating reality. So if you believe that something will change your reality, you can act on it and make it true. So what it comes down to is, if you believe that drinking will kill your liver, you are probably right. And you will drink and you will kill your liver and you will have a liver problem. If you believe that smoking will cause you cancer, you are probably right. You will smoke and you will get cancer and you'll have a problem. Now, there are things that we can do to minimize these problems, and that's what I'm doing. So, what is health, really? Health is providing all of your bodies with necessary things to be around longer, and not just be around, but to be around in a happy state. You want your body to not just be alive, but to be healthy. You want it to be comfortable, right? You don't want to have diarrhea every time you eat something. You don't want to be sick every time you eat dairy. And a lot of people are, and they call it lactose intolerance. Well, lactose intolerance may be a real thing, but it also may be your mind's manifestations. And I don't want to call anyone out on this, but there are people that I know who have now become allergic to a lot of things because they think that these things are causing their allergic reactions. Well, yeah, they're right. There's a great quote from a movie called Baby Boss, or Boss Baby. I'm sorry, Boss Baby. And in that movie, the guy says, "Whether you think you will succeed or fail, you're right." And I believe that. If you're going to think you're going to succeed, you will succeed. And if you think you're going to fail, you will fail. So your thoughts and beliefs create your reality. Another interesting question is, do you want to live forever? If you do, why is that? Do you want to live forever because you want to keep enjoying the physical pleasures? Do you want to live forever because you think you're going to be a great spiritual leader? Do you think you're going to change the world? If you want to live forever, why is that? And it goes back to habits. If you have bad habits that are quote unquote bad because you believe they're bad, why is that a big deal? Do you think that it's hurting you physically? Do you think it's hurting you mentally, emotionally? Why do you think they're bad habits? And if it's physical, what makes you want to live forever anyway? I understand wanting to live happy and comfortably. That's great. But your beliefs that your habits are going to cause you to be unhealthy and uncomfortable, they may be affecting exactly what reality you experience. So, why am I doing what I'm doing? I am trying to be breatharian. I am trying to be pranarian. And the reason for that is because I have had a lot of quote-unquote bad habits in my lifetime. I know that. My body reflects that. I am overweight, and I'm working on that. I like to eat unhealthy foods, quote-unquote unhealthy. I love pizza and sweets and, just about anything that traditional American loves. I do too. I was brought up on those things, especially in the South, and I'm trying to minimize those effects now. But of course, that is also a mental belief. I believe that if I cleanse my body by fasting and eating as little as possible, I'll purify my cells, rejuvenate my DNA, etc., etc. So I'm doing this for the main purpose of physical health. Uh, but obviously, there are other side effects like emotional, mental, and spiritual health as well. I'm having revelations that I never would have thought of before. I have changed considerably since I was, a young man of 20 years old. I'm going to turn 35 this year. It's pretty incredible. 35 this month, I should say, about 3 weeks from now. So, again, in this video, I expect people to disagree with what I'm going to say, but I still believe and think that honesty is the key to really making your beliefs in your reality occur. So, if I'm not honest with you or with myself, then my life will keep throwing me curveballs. There is a power that the gurus believe in Hinduism, that if you are honest every single step of every single day, then the reality around you will kind of notice and start manifesting your thoughts without your intention. So if you say, I'm going to have a good day, guess what? You will. If you say, I'm going to make $1 million, guess what? You will. Because the world starts reflecting what you believe is true because you are honest with everyone and everything around you. So what am I getting at? I have had habits since junior high of drinking alcohol once in a while and smoking once in a while. And when I say once in a while, it's more than I would actually like to admit. Sometimes I smoke every day, sometimes I drink every day, sometimes I don't. And it changes from time to time. When I'm fasting and not eating anything, I tend to smoke more. When I am trying to be completely on an all liquid diet, not eating anything, I tend to drink more. Today, I have had 4 alcoholic beverages. I have not eaten anything else today. I have had some coffee and I have had some water, but I have not had any juice. I have only drank alcohol today. So, a lot of you may think, okay, that's where your crazy rant is coming from. Maybe you're right. But again, I would remind you that a lot of different religious spiritual masters use different substances to get in touch with their highest selves, and therefore they don't have to think about what they're going to say. They just let it come out, which is what I'm trying to do right now. I really do believe wholeheartedly that my fasting, my pranarian / breatharian lifestyle helps my body to purify itself. So if you do drink or smoke and you are worried that you have these things you need to fix, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I would encourage you to do some self-finding. Think about what matters to you, what makes you happy. And ultimately, if fasting does help stop cancer, it does help stop diabetes, it doesn't help autoinflammation disorders. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Then maybe you are actually correcting for some of these other things that are supposedly causing unhealthy issues in your life. Now, I would encourage anyone to prove different. There aren't any studies out there about someone who is breatharian and drinks, or someone who's breatharian and smokes, someone who is a guru and drinks and smokes. There's no evidence out there that their bad habits are causing them to die prematurely or be in an unhealthy state, because there is not enough spiritual data to prove that these gurus are anything more than regular people, and therefore no one has done any studies on them as to what their body habits have caused to wow, where'd that go? Ha, it's gone. Okay, so again, there are no studies to show that they are actually in bad health, even if they have these habits that may be considered bad. Now, because I do believe that they may be bad, I do intend to stop both drinking and smoking someday, but that is a self-limiting concept if you think about it. I think they're bad. And I'm really trying to overcome that thought. I want to overcome the idea that they're bad, because even though I'm fasting a lot, quote unquote fasting, because I'm trying to absorb prana instead, my body is purifying and cleansing itself. I'm losing weight constantly, despite drinking alcohol, despite smoking once in a while. But yeah, someday I may stop drinking and smoking, and I may even stop eating unhealthy foods altogether. But for right now, I ate on Monday. I didn't want to, but I did. I broke down and had a delicious double bacon cheeseburger. Even though I said I like to be vegetarian and vegan as much as possible, I broke down and I did it. So like I said, this video is a coming out, letting you know, coming clean, I should say, not coming out. Coming clean and letting everyone know that I'm not perfect. I do things that you do, and I was feeling guilty because I wasn't telling anybody, but now I'm letting it out there. So today, as far as workouts go, I did cable pull aparts. I wanted to work my traps, I wanted to work my back, I wanted to work my posterior deltoids. So I focused on cable pull aparts. I feel amazing, and that was awesome. Today I did not eat anything, except for I did have a couple of drinks, like I mentioned. Yesterday I did not eat anything except for the same thing. I had a few drinks of fruit juice, some coffee, and maybe a couple beers. Now let's talk about fasting. How it affects your body. First and foremost, people are really big on the ketosis diet right now. They're all about eating very little carbohydrates so that your body will shift from glucose metabolism to ketone metabolism, and how it affects your body. Well, I'm not going to go into all of that, but I will say that let's talk about alcohol versus fructose versus glucose. Most of the time, your brain is fed on glucose, and that is basically the sugar molecule. It's 6 carbons put together in a circle. And alcohol is a carbon molecule with an OH attached. And there are different carbon molecules. There's ethanol and there's butanol, and there's all kinds of different ones. But ethanol is the main alcohol in the kind we drink. Now, fructose is another circular carbon molecule, but it is metabolized differently in your body. Now, the main difference between glucose and fructose is that when you consume fructose, it goes directly to your liver to replenish your glycogen stores. So glycogen is stored in your muscles and your liver, so that when you are running low on blood sugar, the glycogen can be broken down and it can feed your brain. Now, glucose, like I said, is metabolized differently. It goes directly to your brain. Your body is trained to basically feed your brain on glucose most of the time. You only go off of fructose. Well, I should say you never go off fructose. Fructose keeps your glycogen stores full in your liver and your muscles, and your body and your brain are fed by glucose when they break down the glycogen. Now, if you go off of carbohydrates for a long period of time, your body stops having the glucose available readily, and you start breaking down your fat in the process called lipolysis. Now, when your fat is broken down, it turns into ketones or ketone bodies, and your brain can actually be converted into working on ketone metabolism instead of glucose metabolism. So your body starts using ketones instead of glucose. And that's why after a few days, your body stops I'm sorry, my family's distracting me. Let's keep going. So after a few days, you go through the process of converting your food sources from glucose to ketone bodies, and that's why a lot of people have sluggish brain thought. They have dizziness. They have all these problems when they're first fasting because they're low blood pressure, because their body is switching from glucose to ketones. Now, supposedly, you actually might function better on ketones. Your brain might function better on ketones, but more research is necessary. So alcohol also goes directly to your liver, kind of like fructose does. Now, that's mostly because your liver has to detox ethanol, make it from a poison into a usable, viable food source. But it does happen. So drinking fruit juice sounds really healthy, and drinking alcohol sounds really unhealthy. But I would question what's the main difference when they both go to your liver to be metabolized and changed into a viable food source. Now, there's a very interesting YouTuber out there. I'm not going to say his name right now because I don't know how I feel about him, but he's talking about basically he's 65 years old and he's ripped. And he talks about how um, the liquid diet is the healthiest diet, and fruit juice is the best way to lose body fat the fastest because basically you are keeping your glycogen store full. Once again, fructose in fruit goes directly to your liver, and therefore it goes directly to your muscles as well, your skeletal muscles. So he says that don't worry about burning fat. Your body burns fat naturally all the time. Keep your glycogen stores full so that your brain can function naturally, because he thinks that ketosis is unnatural. Ketosis is when your body is starving itself. So, again, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's an interesting thought. Now, do I want to be substance free? No alcohol, no smoking, no other drugs. I don't do other drugs right now because I have a government job. But I'm just saying, do I want to be substance free? I do, but only because I've been conditioned to think that all substances are bad for you. Many Native American tribes believe that smoking nicotine gave you a greater spiritual connection. Other American and South American peoples believe that smoking other substances like opium and, like I said, DMT producing things bring you closer to spirituality as well. So do mushrooms, etc. So, do I think that I want to be substance free? Yes, but only for one reason. And that's because I have the belief that everything I need for happiness is inside me already. But why do I have that belief? Is because I've read it somewhere. So, ultimately, I don't know if it's true. It could be hogwash. Maybe whoever said that has a bias against it already. So I would just encourage you to second guess all of the things that you think you believe and wonder if they came from you or from something you read or watched. Now, I think that's all I have on this video for now. We're about 22 and a half minutes in, and I feel like I've pretty much let everything out there. Um, Anyone who watched it, thanks for watching. I'm very curious to what you have to say. I love your feedback, and I would love for you to go against what I have to say because I want to talk about it. I want to let everything out there and just get it out in the open. Bottom line, I'm not perfect. None of us are, but we all strive to be perfect. The whole goal is to strive to be perfect. But before you can be perfect, you have to know what perfection really is. And if you're judging perfection on a belief system that's not entirely accurate, you may be putting yourself in a bind, going in circles, chasing the wrong thing. So just, try to second guess your belief system and become the best person that you can be. Um, that's all I've got to say. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.